I want to give an update to the IT band issue that flared up for me a couple months ago that was actually doing better. In fact, 2 weekends ago, I did a 2.5 hour mountain bike ride. Last weekend, I did a 3 hour mountain bike ride. And then on that Monday, I did a ride on the gravel bike and it got worse again. And the ride was only like an hour. And I could feel it. It was getting tight. It didn't really like fully flare up, but I could feel it getting tight. In fact, the next night I rode the mountain bike on our Tuesday Night Worlds and it did fine. And then I did a 1 hour ride on the mountain bike on the gravel roads on that Wednesday. And again, I could feel it. It was a little sore on the spot. In fact, let me, in case some of y'all deal with this, I'm curious because when I get IT band flare up, the first onset of discomfort and pain is not like up on the IT band. It's on this little bone that sticks out kind of below your kneecap. And that's where it starts. And then it gravitates up. If I don't stop riding, it gravitates up to the classic IT band next to the knee. And so, like I said, it was doing better. And the saddle height on my bikes, I've lowered by over it's 1.5 centimeters on all of my bikes. And so I think the reason this happened is because the saddles on my bikes were probably a bit too high. I was at about 25 to 28 degree knee bend. Now I'm at about 38 to 40 degree knee bend. And for me, I believe that's going to be my new normal because I don't want to go through this again. And I originally thought that lowering my saddle would decrease my power and efficiency, but the first night that I lowered my saddle was our Tuesday Night Worlds ride, and I had a PR on that course by over a minute. And so my saddle, again, I was at like a 38 degree knee bend. And now one thing is I had a buddy of mine behind me that was riding really strong and I was trying to stay in front, but still I felt great. And a kind of a side benefit to this is I feel like since my center of gravity is a bit lower on the mountain bike, my handling through the tight single track is actually a bit better now. So that's just a little bit of a side benefit. So I made the decision last week that I'm going to take 2 full weeks off the bike to let everything reset, which, as cyclists, we do need breaks. And I live in an area where we can literally ride all year long. And even when the weather is rainy or bad, I can use Zwift, which I do. And so, it is good to just take a mental break, a physical break, and work on some strength training and some cross training. So I've been doing a lot more kayaking lately. And it's good to not have those muscle imbalances. So if you're like me and you only really focus on riding, then you can get some muscle imbalances. And a lot of the strength training that I've been doing is working on the gluteus medius, which I understand is the muscle to strengthen in your glutes to help alleviate IT band issues. But I'm going to be doing over the next 2 weeks a lot of stretching, a lot of strength training, probably do some icing on the IT band. Again, just to let all the inflammation go down, let everything reset, and then start fresh and hopefully ride without issues. Now, going back to the kayaking and stuff, like I said, it is good to do other sports, and kayaking is actually a great complement to riding because you're using your upper body, your core as you twist and everything. And so, a buddy of mine, in fact, who also does the Tuesday Night Worlds ride with us, is a really good kayaker. He did a lot of whitewater kayaking, and we went out yesterday with another friend, and it was kind of like a group ride on sea kayaks. But we went upriver and back, and he was helping me with my roll. So over these next few weeks, I'm gonna get my kayak roll. I've developed some bad habits trying to learn it, is what he told me. So he's working on my rolling technique, and I am going to get it. It's just one of those things I have to do. So yeah, I'll be doing that. And I also got a paddleboard. So my wife and I have paddleboarded before, but we've never had our own. And we got inflatable paddleboards well, mine was for my birthday, hers was for our anniversary, which was 2 days ago. And so we're going to go out next weekend and go paddleboarding to celebrate our anniversary. In fact, we're going out today. Today's Mother's Day that I'm filming this, and so we're going to go out today and celebrate Mother's Day. But yeah, so paddleboarding, kayaking, taking a break from riding, and working on the strength training and the core and all that. But I'll tell you one thing that's really been beneficial to this is when things like this happen, it gives you a greater appreciation than ever for being healthy and being able to ride. So Now, I want to talk about the gravel bike because every time I've had an IT band flare up, it's been on a road bike or a gravel bike. Now, I've mentioned this before, but my story is I strained my left IT band really bad about 11 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. And I had to take 8 months off the bike. Now, that was like an injury strain. This is not like that. And so ever since then, I've had flare ups about every, 4 to 6 months, it'll flare up. And I was thinking back on it, and every time that happened, I was on a gravel bike or a road bike. And I think it's either one or two things. It's the riding position, so being stretched out a bit more, or the Q factor, so the fact that my feet are more narrow. My feet are over 2 centimeters closer on the gravel bike versus the mountain bike. And so what I did was I got these pedal spacers. And what these do is you put the pedal in, the spacer, and it moves the pedal out from the crank. So these, I got them from Amazon. However, my pedals require an 8 millimeter Allen wrench to put on the bike, and there is no other, shoulder to put a wrench on the pedal. You have to use an Allen wrench. The problem is I can't get an 8 millimeter Allen wrench through this thing to tighten the pedal on. So that's a fail. The other issue is I thought these moved your pedals out 1 centimeter, and so both would be out, 2 centimeters total, but it's 2 centimeters per pedal. So that makes my Q factor really wide on the gravel bike. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to gravel bike for at least a month. At the end of this month, Memorial Day weekend, I'm going up to North Carolina to Pisgah to ride for 4 or 5 days. And then when I get back, I'm still going to not ride the gravel bike until I'm absolutely, I can do a 4 hour ride on the mountain bike with zero discomfort. Once I can do that, I may try the gravel bike again. And I think with the saddle lower, I'll be fine. But if I have any discomfort or pain on the gravel bike, I'm going to sell the gravel bike and I'm going to get a hardtail for riding gravel. The only disadvantage to that is the fact that I'll be a bit slower and, riding with groups, especially, the fast gravel events, I'll be at a little bit of a disadvantage. But, there are some guys around here that ride mountain bikes on gravel. One is pretty young. He also does our Tuesday Night Worlds with us. And he's probably one of the fastest mountain bikers in our area. And he motors on the gravel roads, and he's a strong rider. But there's another guy in his 60s who rides a mountain bike single speed and hangs with the groups. So, I'll be a bit slower, but at least it'll put me in the same riding position as my other bike. So if I decide to do that, I'll make a whole video on that and why, I would do that versus riding my current cross-country bike on gravel, which I'm going to do. But eventually, if I decide to sell the gravel bike, I would want to get a hardtail completely set up for gravel. 2 water bottles, all the, pump, bag, the Garmin Varia, all that on the bike. So, because I love doing, long 3 to 5 hour gravel rides. It's just, we got so many good gravel roads around here to ride, and I don't want to give that up. So yeah, that's an update on the IT band issue. When it's all said and done, I'll make a whole separate video that talks about everything that I've done, all the foam rolling, strength training, stretching, everything, to help some of you who may go through this one day or are going through it, because it is frustrating. But, I'm actually looking forward to this break. I'm looking forward to doing other things and, getting that mental, physical, deep rest and getting back on the bike. All right, that's it for this video. I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.